Hello and welcome to the Dublin Arsenal preview show. I'm your host, Jonathan Giles. On the preview show tonight, I'm joined by regular Gooner guest Eamonn Donnelly and by avid Leicester City fan Thomas Gray to preview our Premier League fixture at the King Power Stadium against Ruud van Nistelrooy's relegation threatened Leicester City side live on TNT Sports at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. And remember to check out our show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel and also on Spotify. So sit back and enjoy the show. As I said in my intro, and as we're recording on Valentine's night, no better looking guests than the ones I have tonight. First of all, to Eamonn Donnelly, our in-house gooner. How are you, pal?
Evening, Jonathan. Evening, Tom. Message to the fella on crutches dressed in camouflage who's down my wallet. You can hide, but you can't run. Now, how are you? All good. Roses are red, violets are blue. 89 minute, Tarkovsky 2-2. Hey, get in
there. a beautiful bit of poetry by Eamonn Donnelly, as always. Yeah. Nice mix up this time around, Eamonn. So great to have you on, pal. And also joined by Leicester City fan, Irish-based Leicester City fan. We had him back in September on our preview show. How are you, Tom Gray?
Yeah, I'm very good. I'm very good. Can't complain.
Great to have you on board. On this Valentine's night, taking time out for us, special two guys here. That's dedication. Special shout out to Tom's mum, as always, Yvonne Gray, another avid Leicester City fan. So big shout out to you, Yvonne. And it was great to have your bro on a couple of weeks ago, Anthony Gray. Well deserved. From Newcastle United over the two legs, no complaints there. And it was great having him on, and we hope to have him on again soon when we meet Newcastle again. To our match.
We don't know what happened to him now when he was born, because we're all Leicester City fans, and somehow down the line he managed to sneak through as a Newcastle fan. Yeah. Our derby is always Newcastle versus Leicester, but the tables have turned lately, and we easily get smashed by Newcastle this season and that season. So yeah,
we all have our problems. By the looks of you chose the right club for the meantime, Henry Tom. But there's still a long way to go in this Premier League season, that's for sure. As course to our match preview, as always, and it's great to have both of you on again, lads. Leicester City, of course, away tomorrow, 12:30, live on TNT Sports, of course, at the King Power. As it stands, Leicester City currently lies in 18th position. Played 24, won 4, drew 5, lost 15, and put 17 points with 25 goals scored as well. Their top scorers so far is Jamie Vardy, the evergreen, 7 goals. Jordan Ayew with 4. Facundo Buonanotte on loan from Brighton with 4. Sefi Mavididi with 3. Bilal El Khanous with 2, who's really impressed me. Really good talent you have there. And James Justin, of course, he's got 2, and they were against ourselves back in September too. One of them was a worldie. 1 clean sheet for you at the moment, Tom. I suppose I've done something different I've done for the previous show. A few standout players that I've noticed for yourselves, Tom. Your goalkeeper, Mads Hermansen, really top young keeper, Danish lad. He done really well against ourselves back in September at the Emirates, and looks a good keeper for the future. Casey McAteer, one of our own as well. Bilal El Khanous, as I mentioned, he looks a right talent, and you could have your work cut out for you if you go down there. You know, you could be one of the players that could leave, I think. James Justin, as always, has impressed me. Facundo Buonanotte as well. He's a very skillful player, could make things happen. And of course, Jamie Vardy's he's 34 now, but he just his eye for goal. You know, he's always a threat running in behind the centre backs, and he always seems to get a goal against ourselves. So fingers crossed tomorrow that doesn't happen again. Just before we go into more in depth into the preview, Tom, how do you think Ruud van Nistelrooy has done since his appointment as manager after the sacking of Steve Cooper. Are you pleased at the moment with what he's done at Leicester to date?
Um, I've had me good moments and me bad moments. We did get off to a good start, but I just think some of I'm very disappointed with the way we start games. We seem to be losing games very quickly and very early in games, and if you're conceding goals in the first 5 to 10 minutes every game, whether it's against the likes of Arsenal or if it's against the likes of Wolves, it doesn't matter who it is. Yeah, it's always going to be a struggle to even pick up a point, let alone 3 points. So defensively, I don't think he's got it right tactically wise in a lot of games. So it's hard to say. He had a hard job ahead of him when he got started in any way. So whoever it was going to be, it was always going to be difficult. I don't think Steve Cooper was the right man at the time either. So look, he keeps it up. He's doing a great job. If keeps us up, which I'd be very pessimistic about that now. But look, who else? You know what I mean? Who else was going to step in and take the job? You know, so
yeah.
He's I suppose he's. If we look at it, at least we're still in with a shout of staying up. If that's a positive to still take at this time of the season, because it looks like the two teams below us are dead and buried. So it seems to be between us and Wolves, and Wolves have just seemed to have hit a glory spot at the minute with their new manager. So it's going to be difficult. But look, at least we're still in with the show.
Yeah, that's true. To yourself, Eamon, it's always tough coming in, into kind of mid-season, nearly enough mid-season. Van Nistelrooy came in, didn't he, around November, December, and with Steve Cooper getting sacked. How do you feel yourself, Eamon? How do you think Ruud Van Nistelrooy's got on as a manager so far at Leicester?
I think he's done okay, but unfortunately, in the football world that we live in now, everybody's judged in 10 weeks. You can't judge a manager in 10 weeks. It's just not. If you'd have judged Mikel Arteta in 10 weeks, we'd have been going and getting somebody else.
Yeah.
You've got to put it into perspective. I think it's very difficult, Tom, the way things have gone over the last few seasons for a team that gets promoted. They have to hang on for dear life for the first season. And if they can manage to navigate that, you've got a better chance of betting yourself down in the way Bournemouth did and Brentford did. It's all about getting on with that first season. But you're right. You're still in contention. You lost 3-0 at home to Wolves. If Leicester had won that game, they'd be sitting 4 points ahead of Wolves.
Yeah.
So I think Leicester, like many teams that are down in that kind of in that battleground, they kind of have a free hit when they play the top teams. Like they went to Anfield, they played really well. In fact, they could have been 2-0 up.
But that's it. I think when we stay in a game or we get an early goal, we seem to do well. Like we stayed in the game when we beat Spurs. Although we did go down 1-0. I think we were still playing well. And it showed when we came back and we obviously won. But I think there's games where we've gone in and it's like we've been beaten from the get-go. And then we concede early and the head's dropped.
Yeah.
And then we concede 2 or 3 in the first half and the game over, But if we stay in games, we have good enough players there that can score goals. Like the problem scoring goals doesn't seem to be a problem, it's conceding them.
That's 53, Tom. 53 goals, it's a lot to be leaking. But what I'm saying,
a lot of them are conceded in the first half as well. And
I remember you saying that the last day, Tom, and you know what it is like. But I just think that Leicester have a free shot tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What players, Tom, has stood out for you this season for Leicester? That young lad, Bilal El Khanous. He looks a bit of a talent, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's come good under. That's one player that's come good under Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Yeah.
I like Buonarroti, and I did really think he was one of our better players. But he had a couple of. I think he had a bad game when Ruud started, and then he dropped him and went without Khanous, and now Khanous seems to have been in there ever since, and can't fault him really. He's scored a goal against Spurs. He's created a few goals as well. So. Yeah, you can't fault them. I think there's a few. Our central midfield has been terrible. Harry Winks, we bought that lad, Ollie Skip. Indeed, he's just came back from injury. We kind of missed him, but you could see how far he was off the pace when he came back and played the other day. If you can't hold the ball in the middle of the park, that's why we're getting picked off very easily and very quickly, because we don't have nobody to hold onto the ball.
Yeah.
So that's where we're losing a lot of games, is our central midfield. And you can see that that's what we tried to strengthen up, but it just hasn't worked. The players they're just not gelled. Samari hasn't been good. He loses the ball quite a lot, and if you're not getting the ball as well as the central midfielder, then, and if you're losing it very quickly,
Yeah,
it's
very. Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of just been an unsettled side, really. Steve Cooper had one way of playing, and Ruud van Nistelrooy his own way. But you can kind of see slowly his ideology and his tactics are kind of getting through there. But it's going to take probably, let's be honest, a full season. I suppose, I don't know whether you disagree or not, Tom, but do you still feel like this is kind of a championship team in the Premier League? You're lacking that bit of Premier League experience.
Yeah, I thought that from the start, from the get-go. I always thought we were lacking that. You can see that's why we recruited the likes of AU, Deco over Reed, because they have the Premier League qualities and the Premier League experience. And it did come good in a lot of the games, like when we beat Crystal Palace at the end, Southampton, when Jordan Ayew scored at the end as well. That Premier League quality when you needed it up top has probably kept us in contention to still stay up. But I think defensively and midfield wise, although we like the likes of Harry Winks has played in the Premier League, Holly Skip, although he's still young, he has played in the Premier League. The lads, the defensive lads just haven't been good, So you could say it's a championship team. The way they're playing at the moment, it's a championship team. But there is Premiership quality there, But they're just not showing it.
Yeah. Do you feel that? Yeah. Do you feel that yourself, Eamonn? Like they're just lacking, a bit of Premiership experience there in that squad.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, Hardy Winks, he's been kind of more like 40 Winks this season, But I think, look, when Brentford came up, they lacked Premier League experience. When Fulham came up, they lacked Premier League. That's what I mean by it's all about trying to navigate year one. And Leicester are far from out of it. They're far from out of the picture. Ipswich Tom, but I would think that Leicester are better equipped than Ipswich to give. I kind of said Wolves are too good to go down at the start of the season, and unfortunately, the way the league is kind of spread eagle now, the step up to the next team is, you're talking 8 or 9 points at this stage,
Yeah, it's been very. I've been surprised how it has. Like, there's always been a big gap between obviously the bottom three and whatever, but I think this year it's kind of been determined very, very early. I think we could see how the structure of the bottom three, bottom five is going to be from early on, well before Christmas. Like, you could see how it was going to be. There's a big gulf there this season. But like I said, Premier League quality. When we won the league, we didn't have much Premier League quality either. So
Yeah.
I do agree with it to a certain point. You need lads that have obviously been there, but we do have lads there that have been there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a bit more, definitely a bit more work to be done, of course. But I'd say with the 14 games to go, there's still a lot of points to be won and lost, I'm sure, down the bottom end and up the top of the table. But going into our preview in a bit more in depth now, injuries, I suppose, for both sides, starting with Leicester. Ricardo Pereira, Ari Suter, and Abdul Fatawu is out for Leicester. And for ourselves, quite you could say a bit of a lengthy injury list for ourselves. Gabriel Martinelli, Kai Havertz now, who is out now with a hamstring, and it looks like that could be probably till season's end now due to the trip. He picked that up in the trip to Dubai there. Bukayo Saka, of course, Gabriel Jesus, and Takahiro Tomiyasu. We don't know really when he'll recover. He's been out quite a while now. In terms of the current form for Leicester City coming into the match tomorrow, knocked out the FA Cup. A bit unfairly, I thought, with Manchester United last Friday night. Your ex-player Harry Maguire at the back post, definitely offside. And being honest with you, I don't know why VAR isn't in the FA Cup and all the cup competitions. In terms of the league, your last league fixture, the 1st of February, 4-0 away loss to Everton. Before that was Spurs, go 2-1 victory there, White Hart Lane. Tom, very unexpected, but cracking goal from El Canoes in that game, and Verity again, mocking the Spurs fans saying he won the Premier League title. I love him. Then he has had 18th of January, a 2-0 home loss against Fulham, and then 3 days before that, on the 15th, a 2-0 home loss to Crystal Palace. Our previous meetings was back in September, 4-2, of course, at the Emirates. Martinelli, Trossard, an OG from Ndidi, and Kai Havertz for ourselves, and 2 for James Justin. And as I said, one of them was a worldie. Just briefly. Just briefly, actually, Tom, I'm going to come to that, actually, to yourself. How did you feel you done in that game? Because I know you were on our previous show, but you weren't on our review show. Your thoughts on that performance at the Emirates back in September?
Yeah, it was. We obviously got battered for a lot of the game, and the first half, I've never seen a more one-sided game in the whole of my life. But we managed to hang on in there, and we managed to stick with us, to the end. And like I said, it was 4-2, but you scored 2 late goals, and you were clutching at straws for a lot of the games, I think, where he's going to get the winning goal from. But just broke us down in the end. But yeah, I think we really outdone ourselves that day. And unfortunately, I got very optimistic after that game, even though we lost 4-2. But yeah, because the quality told in the end, didn't it, really, in that game?
I think Eamonn will agree. It probably could have been a lot more than 4. Being honest, I tell your keeper, Bats Hermanson, probably kept you in the game. That it could have been 6 or 7. Eamonn, do you agree? It could have been probably more of a battering than.
Well, I was at that game, and I was behind the goal that we were attacking in the first half. And Tom was right. I mean, it was so one-sided. And if you remember, we were 1-0 coming up to half time, and Trossard scored just on the blow at half time. And I think that was everybody in the stadium, except the Leicester players, thought, well, that was it. It's good night. The floodgates going to open. And then Leicester came out on the front foot in the second half. Scored a goal in the set piece, as I recall. And then and that wonder strike by James Justin then. And after that, it was, we were kind of, we weren't playing Leicester off the park the way we had done in the first half. We're in the ascendancy, all right, but we're struggling. And then we got a waxy goal. I think Trossard put it back across the box and it got deflected in. And look, that game, it could have been 6-0 at half time, but it wasn't. The second half was a very different story. But Leicester played very low that day, which they don't normally do, you know.
Yeah.
But look, you know, I mean, they did what they did. They did what they thought was the best opportunity to get something from the game, and you know, almost did, because it was very late when we scored the third goal. You know,
I think a lot of credit, Eamon, as well, has to go to their goalkeeper. The young
he was
lad.
unbelievable.
Wasn't he unbelievable that day? He made some. Yeah.
He was. Do you know what? If it had gone off to tie his lace, no, his leg would have slipped and saved the ball. It was going into the empty net. It was just one of those days, you know. He's brilliant, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually, to be honest with you, it was a really, you know, it was a good game. You know, it was, I don't know about yourself, Tom, but I'm sure you'll agree, a real wonder goal from James Justin, wasn't it, that volley? You couldn't have met it any sweeter.
I was right behind it. I knew the minute I left his foot, Tom.
It was going in.
I was right behind. The way he could have crossed that ball,
yeah.
I said to myself, you know, play the game for long enough. As soon as he hit that ball, I could hear, you know, when you hear the connection of a ball and you just hear the dunk, you hear the thing. I said, this is going in the net. And of course, when it goes in off the post, it looks even better. You know, it was always a sweet strike.
He hasn't done him justice, James Justin. He just takes the odd long distance free kicks and stuff like that. I think he pinged a few in before for us from free kicks. So just have it in him. Doesn't score very often now. So I think the last time he scored, actually, he might have scored two in one game as well last time.
I think he's been a real bright light this season, though, Tom. You know.
He has, yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit about him.
Defensively, he probably needs to do a bit more. But getting forward has always been a strong point for him.
Yeah.
And he's taken, I think he had a couple of bad games and he had a few howlers, and I think the fans got on top of him a little bit over that. But he is a good player. I've always rated him. He's definitely I think he's definitely a Premiership quality player in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he uses quality all right, Tom. Well said there. In terms of the Arsenal side of things now for tomorrow, in terms of our own league form, we lie second, of course. 24 played, 14 victories, drawn 8, lost 2, 50 points, 7 behind Liverpool, and 49 goals for ourselves. 8 clean sheets. Again, David Ray, definitely one of the standout players for us again this season. I think, alongside Lewis Skelly, Nanweri and Thomas Partey's had a really top season as well. His fitness, touch wood, he says fit, and he's been pivotal really for us this season in midfield. I think, in terms of our top scorers, the first 3 are out injured, sadly. 9 goals for Havertz, 6 for Martinelli, and 5 for Saka. The 5th one, though, is Leandro Trossard in this pack with 4 goals. Gabriel Jesus with 3, and then Gabriel, of course, our centre back with 3 goals. Our form coming into this game, our latest game, of course, was last Wednesday evening against Newcastle in the second leg of the Carabao Cup. Lost 2-0, 4-0 overall in Argus, and comprehensively, I think Newcastle United deserved to go through to the final, hands down. We missed our chances in the first leg and our second leg, but you don't take our chances, you get punished. Our previous game in the Premier League was, of course, on the 2nd of February, 5-1 against Man City. What a result. Odegaard, Skelly, Partey, Havertz and Nanweri on the score sheet. Myself and Eamon were at the other game on the 29th. January, our final match day 8 fixture in the Champions League against Girona, 2-1 away from home. Jorginho with a penalty and then Weary. And before that, of course, the 1-0 away victory against Wolves Calafiori, where Lewis Skelly was red carded by Michael Oliver. A disgraceful decision which was thankfully overturned. To yourself, Eamon, with that current form coming into tomorrow's game, how do you feel Arsenal have done over the last few weeks?
Well, I completely discount cup matches when it comes to form because it's a different set of circumstances.
Okay, yeah.
So our league form coming into this is 10 wins and 4 draws. We haven't been beaten in the league since early November.
Yeah.
Right? At Newcastle.
Yeah.
I don't count. Yeah, you can't count the Carabao Cup second leg that you're 2-0 down as part of your form book, because you go out and try and win that in a one-off
Yeah.
and a slugging match, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Just to step back from it. I mean, I'm listening to people saying, would Arsenal and Arteta stop making excuses, right? So let's just deal with some facts here, right? Tommy Yasu, a season. Marino, 2 months. Odegaard, 2 months. White, 3 months. Saka, 3 months. Jesus, 9 months. Havertz, 4 months. And Martinelli, 1 to 2 months. They're not excuses, folks. They're facts, right? How in the name of God can you get any kind of consistency? In fact, it's remarkable that we are where we are, given what's happened to us this season. And I genuinely believe what Havertz gone out, that's like, it's like a bullet in the head, right? Our forward line now consists of one 17-year-old, right? So, to be honest with you, if we hold on to top 4 this year, it'll be a remarkable achievement, given what I've just read out. So let's put things into perspective. I know we're looking at Liverpool saying, how are we going to score the goals if we don't have anybody, right? Now, that being said, Arteta has to make noise about the challenge, and he's right to. But in reality, Kai Havertz was a really important part of our team. So it'd be interesting to see what we do tomorrow. Leicester certainly won't know what we're going to do because we don't know ourselves, right? So it's going to be hard. Like we could actually get a kind of a lucky 2 or 3 games where teams haven't worked us out because they don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And my suspicion is that he'll play Trossard up front, but he won't really be playing up front. That they'll try and get Mikel Merino in the box. If we're going to cross the ball at any point, that it'll be Merino who's going to be the kind of the Havertz type, if you know what I mean. He won't play the same game as Kai Havertz because he can't. He doesn't have that in his locker. But in terms of a tall man getting on the end of something, and it's all about changing the way we play. I think Merino is going to be a really important part now for the next few weeks until we get Saka back and Martinelli. Because I don't think he'll want to disturb Manieri, because Manieri looks so dangerous out on that right-hand side, and I don't think he'll want to disturb that. People are saying, I'm going to play Manieri up front. I don't think he's ready for that. Not only do I not think he's ready for that, I don't think he'll want to disturb what Manieri's been doing out on the right-hand side. So it makes sense to me that Sterling will go on the left-hand side, Trossard will go up top, nominally. But what they'll try and do is get Trossard to drop deep into a pocket and get Merino in attacking the ball. Now, that could work for a few weeks. You'd never know. Where we are stronger than Leicester's, and Tom, I think you'd agree with this. Across the middle of the field, we're a lot stronger than Leicester. I think that's where the winning of the game will be. We've no striker to go to, so I think our midfield is going to have to get on top. I don't know who's refereeing, but hopefully we don't get any red cards, because I can't take any more of that shit. And I think we can win tomorrow's game because of our better midfield. That's the way I see it, and we're solid enough at the back as well. So that's the way I see it. But it'll be interesting to see what way the Arsenal line up,
Yeah, in terms of our previous meeting at the King Power, lads, it was back in 23. Actually, it was in February, 25th of February. 1-0. Martinelli got the only goal of the game. It was a game where I remember Ben White was being a little bollocks to Danny Ward, was the goalkeeper, dragging at his gloves every corner kick he had. He was doing that quite a lot. But with no,
I was at that game and I missed the goal.
Yeah. It was a goal. It was 2 minutes after half time, I think.
It was the only time in my entire life I decided to get a pie at half time.
A puck of pie, I hope.
Because of the pie.
Puck of pies are banging, aren't they?
Can't be the puck of pie in there, yeah.
Coming to yourself, Tom, I'm sure you'll have a few pucker pies if Leicester get a result tomorrow, being Valentine's night. with Arsenal, like it's a worrying position for ourselves. No recognised forward tomorrow, and as Eamon said at the start of the show, it's kind of like a free hit for you tomorrow. You know, hand on heart, I'm sure Leicester fans probably won't be expecting anything from the game, but you know, with no recognised really forward for ourselves, Tom, do you think the Leicester side will be feeling, you know, kind of we can get something here tomorrow?
Yeah, the fact that you are missing the big players up top, you have to take it as a confidence
Yeah.
booster for us, because we're not taking much else into the game in terms of form and anything else. But the fact that you are missing Havertz, Martinelli, and Saka, that you know you have to be looking at that and thinking now. You still do have quality players, and we do know that. And it's obviously not going to be easy for us. Like Trossard still see what he done to us in the first game. So he's obviously dangerous. You'll have Jesus, he's obviously dangerous. They're top quality players, but yeah, the fact that the likes of Havertz and the top boys are missing players is definitely going to be something we can take into the game, and hopefully we can. If we could just stay in the game in the first half and not go down 1-0, the fact that you don't have recognised strikers and you don't have your top boys up top, who knows what could happen? But we have to stay in the game early. We have to not let us get an early goal for us to be able to think that we can get at least a point from the game. You know.
Yeah, and it's going to be a cracking game as always. As I said at the top of the show, TNT Sports tomorrow 12:30. You can also catch all the action as an Arsenal fan in the official supporters club bar, the River Bar in Dublin City Centre. Cracking show, lads. Just to kind of finish off the show. Memories from Filbert Street / the Walker / the King Power Eamon. One memory sticks to mind. Dennis Bergkamp back in '98, that hat trick. What are your memories from Arsenal playing as the two grounds, I suppose?
Well, my memory of my first memory is that bleeding pie. I got 3rd-degree burns off it. I was trying to get back upstairs, and I was getting 3rd-degree burns as I was going. You know. That's the worst.
A Changi beer as well.
Yeah, Changi beer. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
What a mixture of pucker pie and a Changi.
Exactly that. I was also at the Walker Stadium when Mavropanos, when he was playing with us, was sent off.
Oh,
that was a midweek game, and I remember we were staying in this hotel in Leicester. Myself and a fella called the Grim Reaper, Tom. He's in every silver lining has a cloud merchant, you know. And when we got into the room, it was a double bed, you see, right? And we booked a twin room. And this fella came up and he said, "What's the problem?" He said, "Well, we ordered a twin room." And he said, "Where are you off to?" He said, "We're going to the game tonight." He said, "Don't worry, that'll be all sorted by the time he's come back." Like magic, you know. I don't know what he did with it, but it was a different room. Anyway, so but in terms of like the Dennis Bergkamp, the 3rd goal in that hat trick, where I watched it again yesterday, that goal, and he did it in 4 touches from a ball coming out of the air. He leaves a player in his arse, gets the ball down, leaves a player in his arse, and bends it across the far side of the goal. It's incredible. But in typical Arsenal fashion, Steve Walsh got a header and equalised just after it, you know. So yeah, there are my memories.
We do seem to get a lot of goals between us. So
yeah,
we'll see how tomorrow goes. But we do seem to share a good few goals whenever we play each
other. Tom, to finish off, pal, great having you on as always. Your score prediction for tomorrow? Hand on heart.
1-0. Hopefully, you can't get a goal with your makeshift strike force. So, take a 1-0.
1-0. Eamon?
8-1 to Leicester.
I'll take it. Can I take that now?
I go with a 1-0. I think a scrappy 1-0.
No, I'm going 2-1 to ourselves, but I hate making these predictions, as you know.
Yeah, it should be a cracking game. As always, we hope to have Tom back for a review show. Sunday or Monday, so we'll have that show to come. Just like to thank Tom Gray. Thanks very much for coming on, pal. Enjoy the rest of your Valentine's night, and also to Eamonn Donnelly, my regular in-house gooner, as always. You can catch our show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel and also on Spotify. But until the next time, thanks for listening and watching. See you again.